Well, alright then, it's the end of 2016. Guess I should do another one of these videos where I talk about what were my favourite games that I played, what came out this year. 2016, it's been a year, things have happened, shit has hit the fan, some might say. But I'm still here playing video games, I hope you are too. And how about I share some with you? Here are my favourite games from the last year. ABSA. It's really difficult to talk about this game without also thinking about 2012's Journey, the game from that game company which took you on this wonderful journey, I guess, through this desert landscape where you met an online partner who you never knew who they were until the end, and adventured and found this kind of self-discovery along the way. And in many senses, ABSA kind of adheres to that formula. Instead of being in a desert, you're underwater, you're swimming through these beautiful, serene environments that have these kind of pastel-coloured look to them. And while discovering sea life and helping out different creatures along your way, you find some dark, interesting mysteries, some seedy underbelly perhaps of something else going on. And there's no explicit narrative, just like Journey, it kind of whisks you away on this undersea tale. But I really enjoyed it. I reviewed this earlier on in the year, and it wasn't the most standout thing. It didn't hit me like Journey did, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, there are these moments where there's this huge group of fish and you swim up to them and they're all just animating beautifully, just like real underwater creatures would, though they have this specific distinct art style to them. And it were moments like that that really took my breath away and made me stop and stare and think, wow, man, this is very special. And, you know, it's doing stuff that has been done before, but I'm really enjoying it. And I thought ABSA was a wonderful experience. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE. Yes, the name is just, the most spectacularly stupid thing. But what are you going to get when you ask for a Fire Emblem vs Shin Megami Tensei crossover that is this really bubblegum, pop-punky, very anime-inspired style of thing? You know, most people expected it to be this dark, gritty adventure, you know, taking from both these series that have that history of warfare and darkness and seediness to them. And yet this game is just this wonderful, bright, poppy, lovely thing to look at. And it is really gorgeous. It has an anime aesthetic that may turn some people off, but I thought this combination of all that various color and the anime cutscenes just melded to create something that was at home. You know, it felt nice to be in. And generally, it just was a comfortable experience. I definitely have my faults with this, and it's a reason why it's not higher up the list, because it definitely is a bit meaty towards the end. It just goes on longer than you would want it to. It outstays its welcome, you may say. But the things I love about Tokyo Mirage Sessions are very much to do with the aesthetic and the music and the kind of surrounding elements. Yes, the battle system's cool. It's got this kind of turn-based thing going on where you have attacks that chain together, and that stuff is great, but you do get to the point where you're like, well, come on, I've seen this animation 200 times. Can we just cycle through this a bit faster? Whereas I could watch those music videos where they're singing these really cheesy, super Japanese pop songs again and again. They were just wonderful. There are even times where special attacks pop up and they sing the special attacks while they're doing them, and I'd never skip those, ever. The songs were great. I just loved hearing them, and they just added to the entire aura that surrounded Tokyo Mirage Sessions. So despite it having problems, I still really liked my time with it. And also, probably some of the best menus I've ever seen in a game. They're just colourful and joyful to look at. That pause screen, top 10 pause screens of all time. Heard it here first. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. Now, you could argue that this really isn't a Phoenix Wright game. I mean, it is a Phoenix Wright game in that you're being a lawyer and you're going investigating, doing the detective work, figuring out who the bad guy is and making them guilty. But this game is definitely an Apollo Justice game. It seemed to center much more around that character and his backstory and what goes on and how it links to the first one. You could almost imagine a world where Dual Destinies didn't exist and they just went straight from Apollo Justice to Spirit of Justice. And that kind of works for me because that's kind of how I played them. I played Apollo Justice before this and then just jumped straight into it. And I was like, holy shit, it's just kind of carrying on, which was wonderful, especially when the second case goes into Trucy and does a bunch of magic stuff that I really enjoyed, and there's all these references to the Grimoires, and I'm like, well, boyser, I'm in. I know what I'm doing. I'm at home here. And generally, I felt at home playing this game. It's a Phoenix Wright game. There's not much I can really add to that. You know, there are various changes. It looks as good as Dual Destinies did, and it still has that streamlined thing where you kind of are locked off to an area until you've figured out all the clues, which I can appreciate, because there are times where you get a little bit lost in earlier Phoenix Wright games, and I know some people like that, but it wasn't really my style. The thing that stood out, obviously, were the new implementations, the divination seances, where you look into the last however many seconds of a person's life and figure out who actually killed them, dependent on that. But those were obviously a new mechanic, and they came to the fore, and I enjoyed going through them. They were open-ended sometimes, but they weren't super obtuse. There are a lot of mechanics over the years that have been introduced that people haven't been a fan of, and I think this is one of the better ones. It has an interactive element to it that really gave it that punch, accentuated it a lot, and I enjoyed figuring them out. This isn't one of my favorite Phoenix Wright games. I think it has some great stuff, really good moments. It's solid. It's a great Phoenix Wright game, and of course, if you're invested in the series, you're going to play this anyway. All I say is don't play this unless you know what's going on, because you'll be very confused, and you'll probably never want to play another one again. Arise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, okay, maybe I'm cheating. A little bit. But, look, let's be honest, let's be fair here. This game came out last year on Xbox One. Not many people played it. Good job, Square Enix. Well done releasing that on the same day as Fallout 4. Real smart move there. But, you know, this year it came out on PC and on PlayStation 4. Of course, played the PC version back at the start of 2016. And boy howdy, is it gorgeous. It is just a pretty looker, is this Tomb Raider. You see Lara walking around in that snow and the crunch happening, and her jacket just with the specs. It's really detailed and great to look at, and has a shine and a sheen to it that really helps it stand out. Now, there were issues with frame rate I had on the PC, and those big open areas certainly meant that I had to kind of crank down the visual spectre for some periods of time, which I wasn't a fan of, but you know, if I can have 60 frames per second, I'm gonna do it. You guys know that that is my main priority. But in terms of the game itself, I really enjoyed myself. I thought they made some great improvements on the first, expanding this idea with some crafting elements that you can pick up objects on the ground and use them as kind of pseudo grenades and Molotov cocktails to kind of get your enemies away from you. The kind of added elements of stealth, which worked somewhat better this time around. The more open areas that you're able to take on enemies from kind of more different angles. And of course, I've always just preferred the combat generally in these new Tomb Raider games to the Uncharted series. There are things which Uncharted, of course, does better. Things like narrative, that as much as Tomb Raider has tried and has got some decent writing in there, I couldn't tell you the names of any characters in that game. I'm trying to think, and they're just not coming to my mind, because that's not what I think about when I think about Tomb Raider. I think about exploring around, killing some bad guys, and finding those tombs. And oh, guys, these tombs, they're so good. Oh, there are like 9 or 10 or something in the game. I wish there were more. And this is a marked improvement on the first, which only had a few. But man, could you just make a game of tombs that I can figure out puzzles for? Environmental puzzle solving, please? Because I just love that stuff. It is wonderful. It's the best part of this game. And please make another one of these. Secret, they're probably going to make another one of these. And do more tombs. So, yeah. Great game. Love it. Ratchet and Clank. Now, I know you guys have a hard time believing me, but I've never played a Ratchet & Clank game before. It's the first one. Now, my buddy, Ali T, big fan of the series, played all the PS2 ones, loving them all, and me left out in the cold, never owned a PS2. Was never on the bandwagon. How can you believe the only PlayStation console I've not owned is PS2? Best-selling console of all time. I know. Hard to believe, but it's true. The thing is, this game is a fucking great entry point, and I'll tell you why. It's just fun. You know what you do? Take this wrench, your name's a ratchet, you go in and you hit box. You go hit box. This is my favorite part of this game, you hit boxes. That's it. That's all you need to know. You hit boxes, you get bolts. Hit boxes, get bolts. No, okay, more serious. This game is really fun to play. It just has this tactile nature that the guns all feel great. You're just swapping around different weapons. There's some rocket launchers. There's a thing that turns things to dance on the ground. All the enemies have incredible animation. Can we talk about the animation? Because the animation in this game is just above and beyond. And it's one of those things where, despite this being a 30 FPS game, it's hard to tell. I can tell, but it's harder because the amount of care and attention that goes into every movement of all these enemies, where they have custom animations for these fucking dances, is just... There's a tank that you fight, and I throw out the Groovinator, and the tank starts dancing. Like, can you fucking believe that? The tank starts dancing. They made a custom animation for the tank to dance. Oh boy, it's really cool. Not to mention, it looks fucking gorgeous. The best looking PS4 game I've seen. Looks better than Uncharted 4. I don't care what people say. This thing is absolutely a marvel. And it's just a throwback. You know, it's a throwback to that classic platforming, jumping, shooting, having fun. The levels are varied. They have different environments. It's, you know, your classic, hey, here's a fireplace, here's an ice place. You go from planet to planet, doing objectives, doing extra side stuff. It's a short, tight thing, took me like 10 hours, and is just a blast. Fucking really enjoyed it. It just shows that, you know, good old tested gameplay come to the fore, and you can have a great time, no matter what. Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. It was really difficult to decide whether I liked Rise of the Tomb Raider or Uncharted 4 more, and it came down to legacy for me. It came down to attachment. It came down to storytelling, a narrative, which, to be honest, I'm not that big of a person when it comes to these sort of things. But Naughty Dog are the kings. They are the people in the games industry who does narrative, storytelling, voice acting, and motion capture like no one else. They make worlds that are really nice to look at, but aside from that, it is just the attachment that you have to Nathan Drake and Elena and Sully. You've been on these adventures before. You know these characters. You have followed them from young to old. There is context. Time has taken place. This isn't, you know, fucking the Pokemon anime where Ash is 10 years old for all his life. This is progression. You know these people, and they are acting like real people would, and they are progressing as such. And that's something that can't be understated, because not many games kind of go in that direction. And it's probably happening more and more as a result of Naughty Dog's influence. But the moment in Uncharted 4 where you're just quietly going off to some area, and instead of finding collectible, you get a narrative collectible, in a sense, where someone starts up a conversation and you have this kind of natural dialogue going on. It's also introduced one of my really favorite things about the game, when you're driving through Madagascar, and all of a sudden you need to get out of the car. But wait a second, Sam Drake was in the middle of telling a story. Well, guess what? As soon as you jump back in the car, he'll just be like, and anyway, and continue the story. And it's like, man, that's genius. Like, their games have struggled trying to get around this problem, and it does it so seamlessly and in a way that feels natural and human-like and just ordinary. And that's astonishing. As great as that character stuff is, it still needs to be a decent video game, and thankfully, it's the best playing Uncharted. Those huge combat arenas are so much better designed. You have so many opportunities to go stealthy, to sneak up behind people, to take on people from different angles and from areas. The rope swinging, everything that they've introduced makes it feel more fluid and more dynamic and varied than it has before. And it just levels it up, you know? Uncharted 4 is what you want from a sequel. It is more, better, and an end cap. And A Thief's End is one hell of an end cap. Titanfall 2. The original Titanfall is the only first-person shooter I've really gotten into in a multiplayer sense. And this is just a better, more gnarly, more fun, fluid, flowing, action-paced, heavy, awesome game than the original. Now, people have been talking shop about the single-player campaign in Titanfall 2, and how it's this marvelous wonder that has people referring to the original Half-Life and other campaigns like that that blew them away at the time, and I can't speak to that. I really enjoyed the single-player campaign, but I don't really play shooters. I don't have context for what is a good single-player campaign. There's some amazing platforming in there. That's certainly something that I don't expect to see from shooters. And there are some really cool one-off ideas that they just are like, hey, here's this cool thing, and then throw it away for the next level. It's almost a Mario Galaxy style of design that I can definitely appreciate, but I would be lying if I said that the multiplayer wasn't my main draw, because it is. That's what I bought Titanfall for, and that's what the sequel did for me. It really got me back into the swing of things, and in a sense, this game taught me how to play first-person shooters, where the first game, I very much lent on the idea of the auto pistol, which was a gun that if you held a kind of lock on a person for long enough, you could just pull the trigger and boom, they're dead. And I understand that, that was probably kind of a game-breaking thing for some people. For me as a beginner, as someone who wasn't very good at shooters, it was amazing because it let me feel good. It let me be able to kill people and go on that leaderboard and be like, okay, I actually did well this match. And again, the auto pistol was amazing because it killed grunts quicker, it killed the AI mobs that you need to get rid of in a really swift way, but this wasn't an option in the second game. It is an unlockable bonus that you can use later on, and I do have it as my bonus now on my character, because I still love using it, but I couldn't lean on that crutch, and so I had to learn. I had to get good with a gun. I had to aim down sights and figure out where people were going and not stand around, because if you stand around in this game, you're going to get killed really fast. The movement options are improved. You have the grapple hook if you want to use that. You have the knee slide, which allows you to just like flow from area to area so well. Jumping off walls, wall running, going over the top of someone and wall sliding, knee sliding down towards them. Just a great feeling. The momentum build up, the movement through the areas is just exceptional. Now, the map design may not be 100% geared towards all that wall running stuff as well as the first game, but as a shooter that is promising free DLC and free maps as it goes on, I hope this one has a long life. And I think this is going to be my multiplayer game for a short, long while here, because nothing else is tickling my fancy like this one does. Fluidity, mobility, moving places, going quick is what I like in games, and Titanfall 2 has that in spades, as well as just this amazing gameplay. The Titans also are pretty damn fun. And when you get good at them, boy, you're going to wreak some havoc. So, you should play this because no one bought it. It's so good. Why did no one buy this game? Gah. Inside. There has not been a game this year that I have beaten in a single sitting that has had as much of an impact on me as Inside did. Now, I played Limbo. I enjoyed it back in the day. I also played Limbo in one sitting, but that was a much more tortured affair, and I had it from PlayStation Plus. I had heard great things about it, and it's a very cool game. Limbo had some great elements and was this weird art design that fit in a really creepy way, but also had, good puzzles and stuff. But there were moments where I got frustrated. I was like, what do you want me to do, game? Like, this is not a well-designed puzzle, and I don't enjoy it. That never happened with Inside. Not once did I consult a guide or a YouTube video or an FAQ or anything of the sort, and there were moments where I was on the edge, but I pushed through and I was like, oh shit. Like, there is a genius and a subtlety and a care and craft to this game like nothing else I've played in recent times. Every area, every room, every object you interact with has been thought about clearly 1,000 times over, and that's why it took so long to make this game, because there is just attention and beauty in this design that I can't remember feeling any other game has done, and that is to do with its scope, to do with the fact that it's this 2D smaller experience that doesn't have to worry about open worlds and NPCs and all this nonsense. Doesn't even have to worry about dialogue, for God's sake. But that is to its benefit, because the environmental puzzle solving, the progression of mechanics that fluidity of the animations and the way that you can just walk up to a box no matter what side you're on, no matter what angle, and it will just interact naturally and move in a way that you feel it should, is just something that cannot be understated. There are surprises, there are wonders, it looks stunningly gorgeous, it's understated but drab, but also just filled with absolute care and detail. And it's hard to say a lot about Inside, because really, you should just play Inside. I love it. I think it is this year's journey, this year's Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, the indie darling, a masterpiece in design, just exceptional. Truly exceptional. Stardew Valley. There is not a game this year that I have spent more time with than Stardew Valley. Why is that? Because it's like fucking crack. I really liked Harvest Moon back in the day. Never played the GBA ones. My friend Bally did, friend Ali T did. Everyone got in on the Harvest Moon train on GBA. I was left in the cold. I got the GameCube version, and it was good. It was fun. I really thought it was a great time, but there was something about it that didn't quite make me keep going back and continue to do it. There was something missing from the loop that wasn't as enticing as Stardew Valley has been. And it's hard to nail that down, because what this game feels like is a refinement and perfection of all these elements from various years of farming simulators and Harvest Moon games and Rune Factories that has been distilled into this perfect, shining gem of an experience. Here's what happens. You wake up in the morning, you tend to your crops, you make sure your animals are fed, you make sure that you have enough stamina to go into the mine so that you can get some more materials. But oh no, I forgot to upgrade my house today. Oh shit, I also forgot to go and sell off this certain thing. Oh, and I've got to buy crops for tomorrow. Well, don't worry, I'll go to bed, I'll wake up tomorrow and do the next thing. Then the next day comes and you go through your chores and you go talk to Penny and you go have a chat with someone else and you forget to close the farm door and you forget to pick up the eggs. You're like, oh shit, tomorrow I'll do that. And you see where I'm going? Where you just keep forgetting to do things because there's no time in one day to do it. So you keep going for the next day and you keep seeing that nice reward at the end of I made a bunch of money, so with this money I can go buy some more shit, and so I can keep refining my farm and keep going and fishing and finding rocks and minerals and going underground and talking to people and getting married and having a kid and getting more animals and going to the shop and doing all these things and rebuilding the center because I got to rebuild the center because of all these bundles I got. If I get the bundles, then I get more relationship with my characters. You see? You see? You can't stop. You can't. It's just wonderful. Not to mention Super Nintendo art style. This wonderful sprite-based affair. Characters which have a jolly vibe to them, but these dark kind of undertones if you dig in. Really, just the most, and I don't use this word lightly, but I don't want to use it. Addictive it's bad. It's not really a word per se. I like it attaching to video games, but enthralling. Enthralling and captivating is how I describe Stardew Valley, and just so much fun to dive deep into. And I know some people are like, well, it's basically a numbers game where you do the thing and stuff, but it looks nice, and I can make my house have things in it like a telly that's really big and nice, and you know, these Animal Crossing elements, and oh boy, now I just want to go play more Stardew Valley, and god damn it, it's another 60 hours of my life gone. Yeah, it's real good. It's a real good game. Fire Emblem Fates Conquest. Now, I have to state, I'm not making Fire Emblem Fates as a whole my game of the year because, number one, I think Birthright is trash, and number two, Revelation, while I enjoyed it, I'd rather highlight other games this year. And Fire Emblem Fates Conquest is the best Fire Emblem probably since the GBA game. Maybe since Path of Radiance, although I didn't play Path of Radiance at the time. I did play that quite recently, but holy fucking shit, is this game exceptional. It is full of maps that are so challenging and well designed and thought out that it has astonished me to a degree that it just absolutely took all these elements that I disliked about Birthright, flipped them on their head, and made me a believer. And that is a difficult thing to do. If you heard me talking about Birthright at the time, you knew how much I really didn't like a lot of changes they had made. A lot of it was to do with the fact that, you know, the classes and the characters you were using in that game were not traditional. They weren't your knights, your generals, they weren't your sword masters and mages and that kind of thing. And you're using different weapons and different items, and felt too familiar but not familiar enough, you know, a bit too alienating on that line. And Conquest comes along, gives me what I want, gives me all these classes, but it also brings with it a level of focus and precision in enemy placement and map design and objective that is just so much damn fun to figure out. And these maps are difficult, you know? You remember Chapter 10 because you played it 6 or 7 times and you had to get through these waves of enemies crashing against you. Make sure you have someone on the fireball thing, someone on the ballista to manage it up. You've got to have the front line solid and make sure your defensive units are there and figure out how to move in these new characters that pop up. And then you remember Chapter 12 because of those fucking bottles that spill poison or good stuff. And you have to figure out how the hell am I going to get through this small crack while also doing it in less than 12 turns? Because that is a challenge. That is a gauntlet that has been thrown down. You can't just be like I did in every Fire Emblem game and turtle my way to the end. You have to think about it, plan a strategy, make sure things work. There are moments like the boss of the Rainbow Sage Tower, where I systematically used my abilities and used some of my items to eliminate every character around the boss, leaving it ripe for the picking. Or there are moments like Chapter 17 where you have to strategically move the enemies around different areas and open up places and leave places closed to make sure that they don't overwhelm you and that you're not just at the pure mercy of their destruction, whilst also making sure that the NPC who is helping you doesn't steal all the kills and takes all your experience. There is just levels and levels and levels of thought and design and care and attention and detail put into this. And that is also overlaid with the wonderful production values that Fire Emblem Fates brings. There's something I'm not going to deny about Birthright or Revelation, is that they look fantastic. 3D has always been a boon for me, and these games continue to just awe and amaze and really stick the nail down, because those cutscenes are short and not too frequent, but excellent, and really elevate the status that the game has. I just felt the amount of planning and strategy that I had to do in Conquest is more than I've ever done in a Fire Emblem game before. And I'm really glad about it, because I hope that this is a blueprint they can take going forward, that they continue in this mold, and they give us these challenging, really deep games that we can get lost in. Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, my game of the year for 2016. And there you have it. Those were my top 10 games of 2016. Another Metroid 2 remake. Look, you know I couldn't make this video without mentioning this game, because despite the fact that it's not a commercial release, that it was pulled from the Game Awards, that Nintendo shut it the fuck down because they're corporate fucking assholes. And they have to, because that's the business of corporate fucking assholes. Another Metroid 2 remake is fucking phenomenal. The most fun I had playing a game this year. And it just really makes me sad that Nintendo don't make 2D Metroid anymore, because there is something about Samus and controlling her through these environments and beating these screen-filling bosses and collecting upgrades and searching for those secrets that you know have been hidden in this one particular tile is like nothing else. I love 2D Metroid. Metroidvanias are my favorite genre. And this is this incredible reimagining of a game that is so difficult to go back to. You try and play Metroid 2 today and it's unsolvable. It's a riddle. It's an enigma. There's no map. There's no color. It's so difficult to tell where the hell you are and what to do. But this team of people have put together a product that is for free on the internet that you can download right now and play. and it is better than anything Nintendo released this year. Maybe apart from Fire Emblem Fates Conquest, because they did a pretty good job with that one. But aside from that, you know, it's a year when Metro Prime Federation Force comes out, giving a middle finger to the Metroid fans. And I'm just not sticking with that, son, you know? Can't have it. I need my fill, and this is my fill and more. What an amazing, amazing project. 10 years in the making, and perhaps the most polished, refined, fun things that I played this year. Don't sleep on it, guys. It's the real deal. Really, really amazing. And with that, I think we have finally come to the end of my favorite games of 2016. It's been pretty good overall. There's a lot of stuff that's out there that people have loved, things like Hitman, things like Overwatch, stuff that I didn't get to, but hopefully I'll play in the years to come. And I hope you guys have had a fun year with video games as well. Let me know what your favorite games of 2016 were down in the comments. I'd be interested. I'm sure quite a few of you have been playing that Pokemon. Some of you have been playing that Fire Emblem. Maybe some of you have been playing that Bravely Default. Who knows? But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed and continue to enjoy stuff that I do, infrequent as it may be. But I still love doing this, and I'll still continue to. So thanks. Leave a like, all that stuff. Give me comments. And see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone.